Italy may not be favourites for Euro 2020, but looking at their squad depth, they can do some serious damage. So here is how I think Roberto Mancini's side will line up this summer. First off, as Italy's number one, you have to be a pretty good goalkeeper, especially when you're following in the footsteps of Gigi Buffon. And that is exactly what Gigi Donnarumma is doing, not only by name, but by being a brilliant goalkeeper. He's of extraordinary size, fantastic on the ball, and one of the best shot stoppers in the world. And the fact that he's now available for a free transfer is absolutely insane. Whoever ends up getting him on a free, even though he's going to cost a fair whack in wages, will definitely be getting a good goalkeeper, not only now, not only for next season, but maybe the next 10 years or more, considering the Italian shot stopper is only 22 years old. Behind him, he's got good backups and the experience of Sirigu and Alex Meret as well, who's actually a very good goalkeeper. It's just the fact that he's got Donnarumma ahead of him, which means he's not really likely to get too much of a look in. Anyway, Donnarumma and, to be fair, the whole Italian defence have done very, very well in qualifying, winning 10 games out of 10, conceding just 4 goals. Moving into the defence now, and it's going to be a key factor in how Italy play this summer, and their attacking wing-back. Starting on the right-hand side is Alessandra Florenzi, who currently plays at PSG. Now we know he used to be an attacking right midfielder and he's been pulled to right back, which obviously just goes to show how much attacking he's got on the brain. But defensively, he's actually proven himself to be quite a decent player as well, because of course, Italy are going to have to do some defending. It's just in their nature. Alongside him, he's going to have incredible centre-backs and another good left-back as well. But expect to see more Florenzi going forward, especially when the other forward players, who we're going to get to in just a little bit, are cutting inside. It's going to leave plenty of space for the former Roman to overlap and really help the attacking side of Italy's play. If it's not going to be him, it's going to be Di Lorenzo, who will equally bring a similar sort of style of play to the squad. Moving into these centre-back positions now, and of course, Italy are going with the old guard. You can't not. It's Leonardo Bonucci, one of the best defenders in Italy's history. Comfortable on the ball, a brilliant passer like many Italian midfielders, and also an exceptional defender. It'd be very difficult to go to an international tournament and not have him in the starting 11. Never mind the squad. Behind him on the right-hand side of this centre-back pairing will be Rafael Toloi, who's also had a very good season. The thing is, Italy, like I mentioned in our ones to watch video, which you can find here when talking about another player in Bastoni, is that Italy like to pair their centre-backs, the right footer and the left footer. So on the right-hand side, it's Bonucci with Toloi as a backup. On the left-hand side, you've got Giorgio Chiellini. Yes, he hasn't played too many games for Juventus this season, and that 36 is getting on a little bit, but it's Chiellini. He's still an unbelievable defender. He's the captain of the squad, and he's definitely going to be in this Italy team, doing what he does best. Plus, his partnership with Bonucci is absolutely amazing. Behind him, there's also Bastoni, who I did mention in that video, but I think is more likely to feature if, and it's very unlikely, Roberto Mancini reverts to a 3-man defence. But it's going to be a 2-man defence, and if Chiellini's not playing, it's going to be Acerbi in there as well. Moving on to the left-hand side, and much like with Florenzi and Di Lorenzo on the right-hand side, Mancini's got a similar type of situation on the left-hand side. You've got Emerson, Palmieri and Spinazzola as well. Spinazzola has played far more football this season for Rome than Emerson has for Chelsea, because he's got the likes of Alonso and Ben Chilwell in front of him. But for some reason, Emerson still actually starts the majority of the Italy games. Having said that, it's difficult to decide who's going to fit in, but I'm going to go for Spinazzola purely for the fact that he's in a far better form, and like I mentioned, has played far more football this season. But do not be surprised to see Emerson starting in that first game against Turkey. Okay, moving into the midfield now, and in the defensive deep line position, it's only going to be one man, and that is Jorginho. Coming off the back of a brilliant season with Chelsea, and of course, just winning the Champions League as well, he is so vital to how Italy play. In their possession-based football, especially from deep, having key passes is such an important factor. And I mentioned the defenders, Chiellini and Bonucci, being good on the ball. Jorginho takes this to a whole new level. So calm, so composed, such a brilliant player to have in that central midfield position. Although, yes, he may not have the physicality or the athleticism to be a different type of defensive midfielder, certainly a ball-winning one, but as deep-lying playmakers go, he's one of the best in the world. Now ahead of him, normally would have been a rather easy option to pick in Marco Verratti. The PSG midfielder has proven himself to be a top level player across so many seasons and at international level as well, but he's injured. This is a nightmare for Italy. Actually, is it? they've got some pretty good backups. So one of them is Manuel Locatelli. A fantastic season with Sassuolo, and the fact that this Euros has been moved back 12 months has literally helped his cause so much. 12 months ago, he was far less known, and now he's been linked with a ridiculous move to all sorts of top clubs because he has been so good in midfield for this Sassuolo side. In fact, it just goes to show how good the team have been because they've got quite a few players in this Italy squad. With Verratti being injured, they're still going to take him because it's more than likely he'll be fit again for after the group stage. Yes, it's quite ambitious or presumptuous of Italy to think they'll make it there, but having looked at their squad and the group that they're in, I think we can say that they will be in the knockout rounds. Anyway, with Verratti not returning until then, I think Locatelli is going to take his place in the starting lineup in central midfield ahead of Roma's Lorenzo Pellegrini. But that brings us to the other central midfield position, and yet another Roma backup in Cristante, and Stefano Sensi will also be in with a shout, but surely this is going to Nicola Barella. I say surely, it definitely is. Possibly Italy's best midfielder and one of their best and most key players, as he's shown with Inter Milan this season. The guy can do it all. Think like an Italian Steven Gerrard, who can shoot, who can pass, who can get box to box. He's physical, he's good in the air, fantastic leadership, a brilliant engine. He's just got everything. And it's no wonder that despite the fact that Inter Milan may have to sell a few players to raise money this summer, he is definitely top of the keep list. The key player. They're not going to let him go for love nor money. He is so valuable to them and to this Italy team that if he's fit, for me, he definitely starts every single match. Moving into the front line though, and we go to a player who's had a brilliant season with Juventus. Among so much other talent, Federico Quezo has done fantastically well to show himself as one of the key players in that Juventus side. On the right wing, I think he's going to play in this team, and that's because his versatility across the front line, his speed, his dribbling and his finishing is all of the highest order that he can mix in quite well with the rest of the attacking three for Italy. This, as you'll see even more so with the other side as well, is going to be crucial to the way they play. Not only dropping in between the lines to pick up the ball from the likes of Jorginho and the centre-backs as well, but to also create more space for midfielders who like to get forward like Barella, but also the wing-backs as well. Of course, if he's not in the team or if he plays in another position in the team, they've also got Verratti, who's had a fantastic season yet again for Sassuolo. That Sassuolo team that we keep on mentioning. Unfortunately though, for Verratti, despite the fact he's had a very good season, he's up against a ridiculous player in Chiesa, and I think the Juve man is just going to get the nod. Oh, he's also going to get the nod ahead of fellow club teammate as well, Bernardeschi. Talking of movement though, in the Italian side and the way that they're going to help the rest of the team, Lorenzo Insigne on the left-hand side is a fire starter. I mean, the Napoli legend is coming off the back of his best goal-scoring season in Serie A. He is so good, and like I mentioned before, with him predominantly right-footed, cutting in inside, it's going to give loads of space behind him for the likes of Emerson or Spinazzola, whoever gets picked, to bomb on and overlap and really use their left foot to their advantage when it comes to whipping the balls in the box. Like I mentioned before with Chiesa, Insigne's movement in between the lines, his speed, his dribbling, his finishing is so good that you can see him having a massive goal scoring impact from that left wing. Whereas a lot of left wingers will probably stay further out wide and just be not limited to but predominantly supplying the goals, Insigne is more than likely to get on the score sheet. So finally then, we come to the centre forward in this team, and it is a man who cannot stop finding the net. Only in Serie A though. That is Ciro Immobile. The Lazio forward has scored over 100 goals in the last 5 seasons, but when it's come to playing abroad, or with his 12 goals for the national team, it doesn't exactly fill you with the most amount of confidence. For whatever reason, when he's not in that Lazio shirt, he doesn't seem to be as prolific. Still though, he is more prolific than Andrea Bellotti. He's the Torino forward who had that brilliant season a couple of years ago when he bagged 26 goals, but the most he's ever hit since in Serie A is 16. I'm not saying that's bad. He just hasn't necessarily had the career trajectory that many were predicting for the 27-year-old back in 2017. Anyway, he's going to be a more than able deputy to Ciro Immobile, who, let's be honest, is definitely going to be the starter in this team. And on top of all of this, we go back to Sassuolo one more time for Raspadori, the 21-year-old who is yet to play a senior game for Italy, but due to his brilliant performances, mainly off the bench this season, has been called up to the squad, and you can expect him to play a similar kind of role in the setup for Roberto Mancini's side this summer. So there you have it. There is how I think Italy are going to line up for the Euros this summer. How far do you think they will get, and which changes would you make to this team, especially in the absence of Verratti? Check out everything else we've got going on though, and until next time, I will see you guys later.